I woke up to my best friend's phone call. I was still in a daze when Lily had already blown up the kitchen. Where have you been? Your engagement party. Kevin took Nina there. I suddenly woke up.
What?
What is Kevin doing taking Nina to our engagement party? He seems to be planning to announce his engagement to Nina. Where are you? Come quickly. Lily was anxious. I was also stunned with anger. The door won't open, I'm locked in. That little brat Kevin. Last night, he suddenly came to find me and took me to a bar by the sea to drink. We only chatted for a while, and soon I felt drowsy. Today's engagement banquet is something my parents and I have been carefully preparing for 6 months, and I set an alarm clock to ensure I wouldn't oversleep. It seems that Kevin had planned this all along and put drugs in the wine to prevent me from attending. Lily rescued me and brought me to the engagement scene, just as I saw Kevin standing on the stage with Nina's hand in his. She was actually wearing the wedding dress I had custom-made abroad. She so brazenly stood at the engagement venue I had painstakingly arranged, linking arms with my fiancé, accepting the blessings of the guests who had come for me. Everyone, I'm sorry, but due to my incompatible personality with Ella, we have decided to break off our engagement. The person I truly love is Nina, and today is our engagement banquet. All the guests present were stunned. Everyone knew that Kevin and I had been betrothed since we were 18, and everyone had taken our family's union for granted. Most of the people present were there to honor the G family's reputation, and such an unexpected turn of events left everyone at a loss. Nina was immersed in happiness, while a pair of shameless lovers exchanged flirtatious glances, making one feel nauseous. I directly walked up with a security guard, and Kevin probably didn't expect me to show up. His expression changed, and he shielded Nina behind him. Ella, I've already told you that I don't like you, so why are you still pestering me? I will not marry you. I only love Nina. I feel so sick. I want to vomit. You don't want to get engaged to me, but when the Hua family is about to go bankrupt and comes to our family for money, why don't you say anything? When your family is in debt, and my dad has to step in to clean up the mess, why don't you say anything? I arranged the engagement venue. I paid for the custom outfits you both are wearing. How poor are you that you need to drug me and lock me in a room in such a despicable way to trick me into the wedding? Kevin was left speechless by my scolding, and I directly had the security go up. I'll pay for the venue. Throw these two irrelevant people out for me. Kevin and Nina looked embarrassed, and soon they were awkwardly dragged out by the security guards. Ella, do you really need to be so calculating? Kevin stared at me and shouted. Wait a moment. Hearing this, the security guard immediately stopped in his tracks. Kevin's expression became smug again, but he was only happy for 3 seconds. Because I slapped him and tore his clothes off in the process. The clothes are mine, I bought them, you have to keep them. You're going too far.
Ella.
Then, the 2 people who were left with only their underwear were thrown out by the security. That night, Kevin's mother came to apologize to her son. Before the decline of the Hua family, they were family friends with us. So even after the Hua family encountered trouble, we did not break off the engagement. Instead, we used all the resources of our family to save the Hua family from impending bankruptcy. Now that the Hua family's business is on the right track, Kevin has started to waver. Ella, this matter is our son's fault. I have already given him a good scolding and you also slapped him, so please don't be upset about it anymore. He was enchanted by that little fairy and was misled. Kevin's mother, with her silver tongue, forced Kevin to apologize. He looked reluctant, and his apology was extremely perfunctory. Ella, you know that Kevin's dad passed away early and I raised him alone, which was really not easy. You, my child, have always been the most generous. Don't hold it against him. How about we hold the engagement party again in a couple of days and let this matter be put behind us? Aunt, today this matter has become a joke. Do you think it can just pass by so lightly? I really laughed and even got morally blackmailed. I'm already apologizing. What more do you want? Ella, don't go too far. I slapped him again, and Kevin finally quieted down. Ella, how could you hit someone? Kevin's mother was heartbroken, rubbing her son's face, and said with great distress, how can a girl be so wild and rude? My daughter has done very well. It is your son who is morally corrupt. My mother stepped forward, standing in front of me. Now that things have come to this, the engagement is off. My daughter cannot be wronged like this. Moreover, it was your son who ruined the engagement banquet. You should compensate for the losses. Why should we? The mother and son became anxious. Let your son take the consequences. Either pay up or see you in court. My mom finished speaking and waved her hand gracefully. Butler, show them out. Kevin was furious. You all are too much. Ella, I've had enough of your spoiled princess temper. You're not even worth a toe of Nina's. What kind of man would want a woman like you? Just wait and see. You'll end up an old maid. When Kevin was thrown out, he was still cursing incessantly. I feel inexplicably wronged. Kevin used to treat me very well. We were childhood friends, and he has always been very tolerant of my temper. So during the family alliance, even though the strength of the Hua family could no longer compete with the Ji family, I still chose him. But now it seems that Kevin never really liked me. It was all just an act for the support of the Ji family. Now that the Hua family's business has improved, he no longer needs our family's support and has revealed his true self. Then what do my feelings for him over these years count for? Mom looked at me with red eyes, heartbroken, and comforted me in her arms. My Ella is the best. Don't be sad for someone unworthy. My brother, worried that I might be unhappy, specially took me on a world tour to cheer me up. I used this time to regroup and plan to start over, but I didn't expect Kevin to be even more shameless than I imagined. When he called, I didn't want to answer at all, so I just blocked him. Before long, a strange number called, and Kevin's unsettling voice came through. Why are you so angry? You won't even answer my calls. Speak up if there's something. You've been resting for so long. It's time to come back to work. Group D wants to collaborate with us on a jewelry show, and I plan to have Nina as the lead designer. You have experience, so just assist her a bit. What Kevin said was so taken for granted that I couldn't help but laugh in anger. Who does she think she is, that I should be her support? Kevin, you really have no shame. Kevin was somewhat infuriated. Ella, your temper is too big. How can you talk to me like this? After all, I am your superior. Not anymore. I want to resign. When I returned from studying abroad, I had already gained some fame in design. In order to save the precarious company of the Hua family, I took the initiative to join the Hua group and became the chief designer. Without my efforts to pull resources and connections for him, there would be no today's Hua group. And he, on the other hand, still wants me to assist Nina and support her? I didn't answer any of his calls anymore and directly sent him my resignation letter, along with messages to a few other designers I had brought in. Most of them were brought into the Hua group by me. With Kevin's character, the Hua group won't have much development in the future. We can't waste these talents. On the day I returned to the country, Kevin and Nina, for some reason, blocked me at the airport. Ella, although our engagement has been annulled, business is business. If you want to resign, can you wait until this jewelry exhibition is over? Cannot. As soon as I finished speaking, he held on to my luggage. The D group has called for your participation. How can you resign at this time? Nina chimed in, yeah. Sister, you need to have a broader perspective. How can you ignore the company's survival just because of our personal grievances? That's really selfish of you. Oh. I was wondering why you would lower yourself to wait for me at the airport. It turns out that without me, you can't secure the cooperation with Group D, can you? What does it matter to me whether your company lives or dies? I laughed out loud. Kevin, I tell you, resigning is something I must do. But I will still take the cooperation with Group D. What do you mean? I registered a new company, and today I came back to discuss cooperation with Group D. You've gone mad. Ella, what are you doing running a company by yourself? How dare you compete with me for collaboration? Who said I was alone? I tilted my head and pointed behind him. Several key designers from the Hood group appeared in unison, throwing their resignation letters at him. We're done. Kevin's face turned pale. You treacherous bunch. A good bird chooses a tree to perch on. Besides, what qualifications do you, a thankless guy looking for a mistress, have to say anything? The designers retorted, and Kevin became even angrier. All right, you all go. With me, Nina, here, the Hua group will only get better and better. You will all regret it in the future. Nina comforted Kevin, and he calmed down a bit. The two of them snuggled up together again. I couldn't bear to look directly, and just took the others away. The collaboration with Group D was almost a foregone conclusion, so I took my sisters who were switching jobs to eat, drink, and have fun, celebrating for a while. As soon as we left, Kevin put in a lot of effort to promote Nina, not only turning her into an internet celebrity, but also holding a jewelry exhibition for her at the peak of her popularity. Nina quickly rose to fame during this time, not knowing how much money Kevin had invested in her, packaging her as a talented young girl with remarkable design skills who appeared out of nowhere. Such a character actually attracted quite a few fans, and she quickly became an internet celebrity with 1 million followers. Moreover, her occasional displays of affection with Kevin, like a domineering CEO little drama, have indeed won over quite a few netizens. I am busy with the D Group's jewelry show and have no energy to deal with them at all. Anyway, my parents said that since Kevin is so untrustworthy, they will never let the Hoa family live so well. The Hoa Group has no resources, and our family has also withdrawn its investment. Those who are on good terms with our family have cut off their cooperation with the Hua Group. Even if he tries to create momentum with Nina, it won't last long. Kevin had invested too much money in Nina, but very few of her audience were likely to buy jewelry, and he found himself in a bottleneck. The first day of the jewelry exhibition I organized attracted many social elites and received unprecedented acclaim. My work also became popular online, but I never expected that on that very night, I would be trending with a glaring plagiarism following it. Moreover, the one accused of plagiarism is still Nina. Some time ago, Nina held a jewelry exhibition. The response to the jewelry exhibition was good, but when I saw the pieces, I was taken aback. Isn't this the work I designed when I was at the Hua Group? When did it become Nina's? Some enthusiastic netizens compared my work with Nina's, and there are a few similarities. Because her event was held earlier, netizens assumed I was the one who plagiarized. I was furious and immediately called Kevin. Faced with my questioning, he shamelessly replied, "Since you designed it while working for the Hua Group, it belongs to the Hua Group. I'm willing to give it to Nina, so it's hers. Haven't you already resigned? Then these have nothing to do with you." Kevin, do you have any legal awareness? Even if I work for the Hua Group, I still have the right to be credited for those works. What you're doing is blatant theft. Have Nina take down the jewelry exhibition immediately and issue a statement of apology, or we'll see each other in court. You have any evidence to prove that it's your thing? Ella, don't go too far. After saying that, he hung up the phone and refused to answer again. I contacted a lawyer to handle it, but most of these works are drafts I created that I ultimately rejected because I was not satisfied with them. Collecting evidence will take some time. Issues of plagiarism and infringement have always been time-consuming. The exhibition of Group D has been affected to some extent, so I had to urgently remove a few controversial exhibits and replace them with alternative designs. At the same time, a clarifying statement and a lawyer's letter were published online to prove innocence. But the voices online were not pleasant. Nina's previous persona had deeply ingrained itself in people's hearts, and many stood by her, coming to my account to insult me. You think that just because you made a statement you are in the right? Clearly, it was Nina's work that came out first. The one who plagiarized is shameless. Resist plagiarizing designers. Why hasn't Group D ended their collaboration with her? Choosing our Nina would be so much better. This woman can collaborate with Group D. Does she have some background? I arranged for a lawyer to meticulously preserve evidence of all these slanderous attacks. Once the plagiarism case is resolved, I will take them to court one by one, making them understand that in the internet age, even if they remain anonymous, they must pay the price for their words. When Kevin came to find me, he was aggressive, slamming his hand down on my desk, causing coffee to spill out instantly and stain my white dress. You've gone too far, Ella. Why are you slandering Nina online? You wicked woman. I was so angry that I laughed. Doesn't she have any plagiarism? Is speaking the truth also considered slander? So it turns out you hired a water army and called her a mistress? You see that you're being accused of plagiarism, And since no netizens are on your side, you came up with such a vicious plan? Little third. I frowned. Although she is indeed a little third, I haven't mentioned this matter online. Do you still not admit it? Who else would use such a vicious method to attack her, besides you? Ella, do you still have feelings for me? Is that why you're retaliating against me like this? You even had your parents withdraw their investment, constantly making things difficult for my company. My parents can use their money however they want. Why should it be spent on you? It's your own fault for making things difficult for your company. Stop being stubborn. I know you still have feelings for me, but I won't be with you. However, if you don't want me to hate you, then be smart about it. Withdraw the lawsuit quickly and apologize online admitting that you plagiarized, and let's settle this. Also, have your parents return the investment money, and we can still be friends. You have such a thick skin. Why didn't Qin Shi Huang take you to build the Great Wall back in the day? Pa, who would want to be friends with you? What a big face. Kevin angrily shouted. You worthless bitch. A resounding slap landed on his face, and my hand felt a bit numb. I should have known to hit him with something instead. Kevin, you and Nina are the real jerks. It's a fact that she's the mistress, and if I did it, I wouldn't have anything to hide. I'm not like you. Don't scream at me before you have all the facts, or I'll see you for defamation. Kevin was furious and wanted to retaliate, but the security guard I called arrived just in time and held him back. Throw him out. From now on, anyone who lets him step into the studio again won't need to come to work. 2 security guards were holding Kevin, who was still struggling in anger. Let me go. Ella, wait a moment. I called to the security guard. Kevin smiled triumphantly. Now you know to be nice to me.
Damn.
As my coffee splashed onto his face, he let out a sharp scream, and before he could rush over, I waved my hand for the security to throw him out. After Kevin failed to confront Nina, she began to act up. Nina started a live stream, appearing pitiful, crying and turning black and white upside down in front of the camera. When Kevin and I were 18, we liked each other. At that time, his family faced a crisis, and in order to save the family business, he could only get engaged to Ella. I and he are both in pain, but Ella's family is wealthy. It's my fault for being just an ordinary girl, unable to help him with anything, and I can only bury this feeling in my heart. Over the years, both Kevin and I have had a hard time. He worked very hard to get the bankrupt company back on track, and finally, he no longer has to rely on that woman. That's why we got back together. I originally thought that after waiting for him for so many years, we could finally be together. However, Ella did not let us off the hook. She accused me of plagiarism, called me a mistress, and her family has been targeting Kevin's company, threatening to bankrupt him. It's a pity that Nina doesn't become an actress. As she spoke, she was in tears, as if a mistress were the victim herself. I really don't know what to do anymore. We just love each other and want to be together. Why do we have to be bullied like this? I can handle anything, but I really don't want to see all of Kevin's hard work over the years go to waste. If the Hug group really gets ruined again, what are we going to do? It's my fault. Maybe I shouldn't be with him. Maybe Kevin wouldn't have to suffer so much. Nina covered her face and began to cry. I thought such poor acting wouldn't convince anyone, but surprisingly, her fans were all comforting her. You have all done wonderfully, and you will definitely find your true love. We will all support you. That Ella is really despicable, relying on her family's wealth to break up couples. Is she unable to get married herself? She has to force a man who doesn't like her to be with her. That's so malicious. She falsely accused you of plagiarism because she couldn't have the love she wanted, and she even called you a mistress? Please, you two are in love. She's the real mistress, right? Can Ella just die so that this pair of doomed lovers can be together? The harsher the netizen scolded, the harder Nina performed, and it was at this moment that Kevin appeared. Baby, don't cry anymore. Don't say such things. In this lifetime, I only love one woman, and it's you. You've been waiting all these years. No matter how Ella persecutes me, I will never let go of your hand again. Kevin said, and then he pulled Nina into his arms. Kevin, I can't bear to part with you either. The two embraced and wept together, putting on a scene worthy of a Chung Yao drama. I feel like I'm going to be sick, But clearly, they achieved their goal. This performance won them a lot of support, and Nina gained 1 million followers. Now I completely understand who leaked the news about Nina being the mistress. Her move to cut off the source is truly brilliant. Taking advantage of this wave of popularity, Kevin hasn't forgotten to advertise. Nina designed a new product based on our love story, which will be endorsed by the national goddess Lily, to be released in mid-next month. I hope everyone can witness it together then. This wave of advertisements received widespread support. I was a bit surprised. My good friend Lily, knowing what Kevin and that woman did, how could she possibly take on their endorsement? Sure enough, when I contacted Lily, she also looked completely bewildered. What? When did I take on his endorsement? How come I didn't know? I'll ask my agent. After a while, she angrily called back. How shameless. The Hua Group sent me a collaboration message, and I didn't even reply to him? He actually dared to publicly announce that I accepted the endorsement. Is he trying to force me to agree? I really underestimated their shamelessness. Don't worry, I'll clarify it right away. Nina and Kevin are still advertising over here, and Lily's clarification has already been sent out. I have never collaborated with the Hua Group, and there will never be such a possibility in the future. The ungrateful scumbag and the mistress who plays the victim and plagiarizes the White Lotus are not worthy. My good friend Ella is the best designer who speaks with her strength. Lily tears apart the scumbag, and while Nina does have some fans, Lily, as the national goddess, has formidable fan power. In just a few minutes, I rushed into Nina's live broadcast room. How shameless can you be? What right do you have to ride on our Lily's popularity? She doesn't even know you. And endorsing. That's just too fake. Scumbag. Ella and Lily have always had a good relationship. It can't be a bad person. Kevin felt a bit awkward for a moment, stammering an explanation after being scolded into a daze. It might be that there was a problem with the business negotiations. I don't know why Lily didn't agree, which caused a misunderstanding. But Lily's fans directly confronted him, leaving him speechless. What issues are there with the business connection? Show the evidence, otherwise it's assumed you want to gain attention through deception. Kevin and Nina couldn't explain it and were at their wits' end, trying to change the subject. I also received a call from the studio. What should we do? The situation is getting worse and worse, with many people making harassing calls to the studio, cursing as soon as the phone is answered. Some are even sending wreaths here. If this continues, the jewelry exhibition is likely to be affected. The people in the studio were anxiously calling me as I was getting ready to go live and confront Nina. Don't worry, I'll take care of this today. When I stepped in to connect with them, Kevin and Nina clearly seemed a bit guilty. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Let's clear up the grievances between us in front of the netizens today. You have nothing else to say. You have money and connections. Even big stars stand up for you. How can we be your opponents? Nina said, about to cry again. Goodness, she was constantly wronging me. Lily stood up for me, it's true, but isn't it also true that you impersonated her as a spokesperson? Also, you said I broke up a couple. May I ask, when Kevin was pursuing me, were you two together? Did you tell me about this? I smeared. If I knew Kevin didn't like me, I wouldn't even glance at him. You deliberately concealed it, using my family's assets and connections while deceiving my feelings, being together behind my back. May I ask who the mistress is? Don't you have any self-awareness? Although a long time has passed, I'm glad that I wanted to preserve our memories of love back then, and I saved quite a bit. These are the love letters Kevin wrote when he was pursuing me, along with our chat records. Whether I forced him or he pursued me actively, everyone can understand, right? Oh, right. There's also the chat record where Nina persuaded me to be with Kevin. You directed and acted in this, pushing me into the fire pit, and then you want to turn the tables and play the victim. How thick-skinned can you be? Kevin and Nina looked pale and could only argue weakly. Well, if it weren't for your family being the only ones who could say the Hua Group at that time, how could we have done that? Strong arguments and unreasonable claims. Are you the one who plagiarized? Was I the one who forced you? These are the original drafts I designed. At that time, I was working at the Hua Group because of love, and it took me quite some time to find these drafts. They have clear timestamps, enough to prove that she is the real plagiarist. The audience watching the excitement rushed into the live broadcast room, reaching an unprecedented level of heat, and now the ones being scolded badly were Nina and Kevin. They saw that the situation was not right and directly went offline. Due to a large number of online users sending abusive messages, Nina's account was quickly deactivated. Even the account of the Hua group was not spared and had to disable comments. As for me, this incident has brought quite a bit of attention, and the D Group's jewelry exhibition has garnered unprecedented interest. After pretending to be dead for a while, the Hua Group quietly launched Tianmi's new product. But as soon as the new product was released, there were criticisms everywhere, and the losses of the Hua Group were quite severe, hoping to turn things around this time. But as soon as Nina and Kevin appeared for the promotional event, they were immediately pelted with rotten eggs, and the outraged audience nearly rushed up to beat them. The two people fled in a panic. Their new product sales were dismal. What's even worse is that a few days later, someone stepped forward to accuse the Hua Group's new product of stealing a design created by an intern, claiming it was not Nina's design at all. Now, the Hua Group has been caught in the eye of the storm. With my lawyer's letter, the Hua Group is now really overwhelmed with lawsuits. After our family withdrew their investment and took away the designer, the Hua Group became just an empty shell. He was hoping that hyping up Nina could revive the HWG Group, but it only made their situation worse. Now, the HWG Group is really going to be finished. After struggling for a while, Kevin finally couldn't hold on any longer and came to find me, but was stopped outside by the security guard. He waited outside for an entire afternoon, and it was only when I got off work that I saw him still holding a bouquet of flowers and a gift, waiting for me. "Can we talk, Ella?" I didn't look at him much, no. "Ella, the Hua Group is supported by you alone, and you have invested so much effort into it. You wouldn't want to see the Hua Group collapse, would you?" Kevin caught up, speaking shamelessly. "After I left the Hua Group, your life or death has nothing to do with me. Are you really that heartless?" Kevin grabbed my hand. "Isn't it because of Nina? Fine, I'll break up with her, and we can get back together. Just let go of the Hua Group." I really laughed and shook off her hand. "You think too highly of yourself. Why not share some of that confidence with others? In my eyes, you're just like dog shit. Even a glance at you is disgusting. Get lost." I got in the car and drove away, leaving Kevin standing there. The Hua Group was on the verge of collapse, so he began to persistently call and message me. I completely ignored him, and finally, one night, he couldn't hold on any longer and called me from the nth new number. "Don't hang up, Ella, please. I'm standing on the big bridge over the Shijiang River right now. Ella, help me. I really can't go on living. You know, the Hua Group is my only hope, and my mom has been sick with worry lately. I really can't keep going like this. Ella, I know I was wrong. I admit my mistake. Isn't that enough? Please give me a way out." Kevin on the other end of the phone seemed really about to cry. He even started reminiscing about our past. "Ella, for the sake of our past relationship, can you help me one last time and say the Hua Group? Please." Before, I was completely misled by Nina. When she saw that the Hua Group was about to go under, she immediately packed her things and left. Now she's even involved with an older man. I really can't believe my eyes. "Ella, only you have truly been good to me, and I only understand that now. I promise you, as long as you forgive me, I will never make such a mistake again, okay? Stop dreaming. Kevin, I don't recycle trash here." "Ellie, are you really so heartless as to not care about me? If you don't agree to me, I'll jump down from here today and die in front of you." I laughed scornfully. "Jump. Don't pollute the Shijiang River. I suggest you jump into the Ganges instead. That suits you better." After saying that, I hung up the phone. Kevin did not really seek death, but the Hua Group has truly gone bankrupt. The villa where the Hua mother and son lived has also been acquired, leaving them homeless, and they surprisingly found their way to our house. "Ella, you've seen my current situation. No matter how much you hate me, it should be enough to vent your anger. We are truly at our wits' end, without a penny to our name. Please take us in for a while. We don't do charity in our family." I was at a loss for words, not expecting Kevin's mom to come up and grab me directly. "My son is a fool. He was once bewitched by that vixen. Men, after all, are young, and it's normal to make mistakes occasionally. Just forgive him. Back then, when they ruined the engagement party, their attitude towards me was truly like night and day. I had already severed ties with your son at the engagement banquet. If you continue to meddle, I'll have the security throw you out. Ella. They wanted to catch up, but were directly stopped by the security outside. You come to find me again, don't blame me for calling your creditor. They are also heavily in debt, and if the creditors come, they will definitely be in trouble. The two people, unwilling to accept it, left in anger. It is said that two people rented a house in the urban village. Kevin searched everywhere for a job, but his previous actions had made him notorious, and no one would hire him. He could only go to the construction site to carry bricks, and his mother had to go out to wash dishes. Nina is living well. I saw her at a banquet once. She was being embraced by a bald, pot-bellied man whom I recognized, in his 60s, with a son older than Nina. It's really something that she doesn't have high standards. The man embraced Nina, unabashedly touching her in public, and when other partners made advances towards her, he didn't even stop them. Nina looked very wronged but dared not resist, her eyes filled with humiliation. When she saw me, she lowered her head a bit awkwardly. That man is notorious. Every woman who follows him is treated like a toy. When he conducts business, he often takes them along to drink, and sometimes even gives them to his partners. Such a beast. Nina really has no way out and still dares to follow him, Lily whispered to me, venting her frustration. Respect others' destinies. She wants money. That is the path she chose for herself. Hopefully, she won't regret it. In a nutshell, who would have known that within half a year, news of Nina's imprisonment would arrive? I said before, that man is not a good person. Nina following him is just a tool being traded, and how long has it been? Now she says she has been diagnosed with a sexually transmitted disease. That man just abandoned her. Nina was so unwilling, feeling that it was that man who infected her, that in a fit of rage, she drove and killed him. She was also arrested, sigh. It seems she will have to spend the rest of her life in prison. Lily was gossiping, a bit sighing as well. The path she chose herself, so she has no one to blame for this outcome. When did you become so philosophical? Lily leaned on my shoulder. Forget about her. There's a party tonight with 188 tall male models. Are you going? I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Go. The story ends.